The Flash Professional Library is a powerful construct which contains all imported assets and symbols for use in our project. This lesson will serve as an introduction to the Flash Professional Library. So here we have what looks to be a blank document open. There's nothing on the timeline, there's nothing on the stage. But if we actually go to the library itself, and the library is normally in the Essentials workspace, docked along with the Properties panel. So let's click the Library panel. And we can see that we actually have a number of things in this document. We have this, which is a movie clip symbol. We have a sound. We have an image, a graphic symbol, and a button symbol. You'll notice that all of the different symbols in here are represented by different icons. So movie clip, graphic, and button. And we also have imported assets. So in this case, sound and image. We could also create embedded font files in here, and these would also appear in the library. We can create new symbols from this new symbol dialog. So we can choose whether it's a movie clip, button, or graphic symbol, and I'll just leave this as the default. And you'll see that it creates that symbol for us, and it also brings us within symbol editing mode here. Let's jump out back to the stage. So the symbol that I have up here, this movie clip symbol, you can see that we have some little play controls up here when this symbol is selected. This allows us to preview our symbol. So if I hit play here, we can see that the circle or the ball gets larger and back smaller again. So if I drag an instance of this symbol out onto our stage and then expand the timeline somewhat, if we test this by going to Control, Test Movie, Test, we can see that the symbol itself animates exactly as we saw in the preview. So this can give you a good idea of exactly what will happen with each of these symbols, even if they don't have names that are very specific. We have the same thing in terms of audio. If I were to hit this play button, we would be able to preview our audio before we actually used it in our project. Here we see that on something like a graphic symbol or a button symbol, so long as there are frames in that timeline, we can hit play. It's not as useful in these cases though, as you'll see here. If I play this button, it simply skips across just 3 or 4 frames because that's all a button symbol is actually made of. So let's have a look at some of the other controls down here. You'll see that we can create new folders. So I could create a folder specifically for symbols if I wanted to. And this is really mostly useful whenever you have a lot of different assets within your library. It's helpful, you can organize them, and you can see here by clicking on this little arrow, you can collapse and expand the folder. So let's put that empty symbol in there and also the ball symbol. So you can see how this could potentially clean things up quite a bit with an extensive library. We've also got this little properties button here. So if I select my movie clip symbol, for instance, and hit properties, it'll take me into those symbol properties, and I could even rename this or change some of the settings in regard to that. I can also right click on here and edit a number of different things. So I can edit, play, I can access the properties from here and so forth. So there's actually a few different ways of getting around in here. If I select that empty symbol, maybe I want to delete that. So we have a little delete trash can here that I can click, and it removes that symbol for us. In the upper right-hand corner of the library, I also have this options menu that allows me to create new symbols, new folders, new fonts, or new videos. I can also, if I have something selected, use any of these additional commands here, such as renaming, deletion, duplication, moving the item from place to place in the library, editing. So in the case of a sound file, if I have that selected, you can see I can actually edit that with Adobe Audition, which is a sound or audio editing program. I can play, I can update So if I wanted to update this with another sound file, we can see that I can actually update that. We can access the properties. We can make this part of a runtime shared library URL. So this is a way of sharing libraries across different projects. This is a very useful function, especially toward the end of a project. You can select any unused items. So perhaps these are items that were created with the intention of being used, but then you actually didn't use them. So you can select these items and actually delete them if you want to. For instance, if I choose this right now, everything is selected except for the ball. The ball is not selected because I have an instance of that on the stage. We can also collapse and expand folders, access help, or simply close these particular panels. If you have more than one document open, you can actually switch between libraries through this drop-down right here. And you have a quick way of searching within a library using this particular search filter. So in this lesson, we've seen the basics of managing assets in the library and accessing different library functions through the library panel in Flash Professional CS6.